In the ancient kingdom of Oyo, nestled between the whispering palms of the great river and the emerald heart of the endless jungle, life had once flowed as steadily as the waters of the Agun. The people tilled red earth, harvested yams fat as a child's arm, and danced under moonlit skies to the rhythm of talking drums. King Adami, tall and broad-shouldered, ruled with a firm but just hand. His only daughter, Princess Kemi, was the light of the realm, skin like polished ebony, eyes bright as river stars, voice soft yet carrying the authority of future queens. But darkness crept in slowly, like mist rising from the swamps at dawn. First came the deaths. A farmer found his wife cold in their hut, eyes wide in terror, no wound on her body. Then a child vanished while fetching water, leaving only tiny footprints that ended abruptly at the forest edge. Bobbies born in the following moons bore marks of curse, some with tiny horns curling from foreheads like young rams, others with legs bent backward like goats, bleeding instead of crying. The midwives whispered of demons. The elders spoke of angered gods. Panic spread like wildfire in dry grass. Markets emptied early. Mothers clutched children indoors after sunset. The once lively village squares fell silent save for the low moans of the grieving. King Adami, sleepless, paced the palace halls lined with carved wooden pillars depicting ancestors. His generals, Akinji the iron-fisted, Babaton the strategist, and young Kola fresh from warrior training, stood before him, faces grim. "We cannot fight what we do not see," Akinji growled. "We must seek the gods' counsel," Babaton urged. The king nodded. "Summon Baba Alani, the great wizard." Baba Alani arrived at dusk, staff of twisted Iroko wood in hand, white robes billowing like clouds. He was old as the baobab, eyes milky yet piercing. In the sacred grove beyond the palace, beneath the ancient silk cotton tree where offerings hung like fruit, he cast cowries and chanted in tongues older than the kingdom. The wind rose, leaves rustled in answer. The gods spoke through thunder without rain. "A great evil feeds on imbalance," the wizard translated, voice trembling. "The spirits demand restoration. Bring the largest elephant of the deep jungle, alive, into the heart of Oyo. Sacrifice it upon the altar stone. Only then will the curses lift." The king paled. "The great one, the beast no hunter has slain." "Alive," Baba Alani repeated. "Dragged through the gates, trumpeting. No spear may touch it until the moment of offering." Word spread. Fear deepened. Past expeditions, brave warriors with iron spears and war chants, had vanished into the green dark. Bones sometimes returned, crushed flat, tusks snapped. The king summoned his council. Hours passed in heated debate. Then Kalawol, usually quiet, spoke. "There is one who might succeed where strength fails. Anasi the tortoise." Murmurs rippled. Anasi, ancient, shell-scarred by centuries, tongue sharper than any blade. He lived in a cave near the river's bend, solitary, wise beyond measure, yet infamous for greed and pride. Whenever the kingdom needed counsel, he demanded outrageous payment: lands, wives, treasures. But no one else had an answer. "Bring him," the king commanded. A delegation of nobles, dressed in finest Aso oak, bearing gifts of kola nuts, cowries, palm oil, and a cask of aged palm wine, approached Anasi's cave at twilight. The tortoise emerged slowly, shell gleaming like polished obsidian, eyes small and calculating. "What brings the king's dog sniffing at my door?" he rasped. They bowed low, presented the gifts. Anasi sniffed the palm wine, tasted the meat they roasted on the spot. His grumpiness melted like shea butter in sun. "Very well," he said. "I shall come, but carry me carefully, I am weary." They fashioned a litter of palm fronds. Anasi reclined like royalty as they bore him to the palace. Anasi arrived at dusk, demanding first a massage from the soft hands of Princess Kemi. "My old bones ache from the journey," he complained. The princess, dutiful, knelt and rubbed his wrinkled head and stubby legs, while courtiers averted eyes in discomfort. Then came food, A jug of palm wine large as a man's torso, platters of fried bush meat tender as youth. Anansi devoured it all, smacking lips, belching contentedly. Finally sated, he leaned back. "Now, why have you disturbed my solitude?" The king recounted the horrors, deformed children, vanishings, deaths, the oracle's demand. Anansi listened, shell rising and falling. When the king finished, Anansi cried out, "Never! I will not betray a fellow creature of the wild for you hairless apes." Begging ensued. Chiefs offered gold, land, titles. Anansi's eyes gleamed. "If I succeed, if I bring this elephant alive, then I claim the princess as wife. I have watched her beauty from afar. She shall warm my cave." Gasps filled the hall. The king recoiled. "She is my only child." Chiefs pleaded. Anansi remained unmoved. In desperation, the king bowed his head. "It is done. Bring the beast and she is yours." Anansi smiled, thin and sharp. Anansi demanded 7 chunks of tender antelope meat, each dipped in wild honey. He packed them carefully into a woven bag slung over his shell. "I return in 7 days with your prize," he boasted. "Prepare a royal welcome or lose your daughter forever." He set off at his slow, deliberate pace into the jungle. The forest thickened, monkeys chattered warnings, birds fell silent. At last he reached the elephant's domain, a wide river pool where mist rose like spirits. The great elephant bathed, massive as a hill, tusks curved like new moons, hide scarred from ancient battles. Water cascaded off him like rain. Anansi approached, bowed low. "What tiny thing dares my presence?" the elephant bellowed. "I could crush you and never notice." Anansi trembled theatrically. "Mercy, great one, I come as messenger from the humans." The elephant laughed, trunk splashing. "They send me," Anansi continued, "because they see their folly. No longer do they challenge your might. They beg you to rule them, to come to Obel and sit upon the throne as king over men." Laughter shook the trees. "Liar, their warriors came with spears. I crushed them all while they screamed and I laughed." "Precisely why," Anansi said smoothly. "They realize strength rules. They need a leader who is unbreakable, and it is you." He drew the first honeyed meat. "This is tribute, a delicacy only for kings have a taste." The elephant sniffed, then swallowed, eyes widened. "What sorcery is this flavor?" "Reserved for royalty," Anansi assured. "Even I, wise as I am, have never tasted it." Anansi produced a small drum, and he beat a lively rhythm. The elephant swayed, pleased. Anansi fed meat after meat, each sweeter, each drawing the beast closer. He sang praises. "O mighty one, greatest of all, come rule the humans who bow before you." But woven into the melody, soft and sly, "O great elephant, come home and be king. The axe is sharpened, your blood will be spilled." The elephant danced, entranced by flattery and taste, never hearing the true lyric. They journeyed, Anansi drummed, the elephant followed, trunk raised in pride. At the kingdom gates, people lined the paths as instructed, bowing low, throwing flowers, blowing horns. The elephant trumpeted joyfully, dancing to Anansi's beat. In the palace courtyard, a pit yawned, deep, wide, lined with sharpened stakes below, covered by beautiful mats and palm fronds. The king knelt. "Welcome, great king," he said through gritted teeth. The elephant, drunk on adulation, stepped onto the mat. The covering gave way. He plummeted, trumpeting in shock. Stakes pierced hide, he thrashed, but the pit held. From above, Anansi laughed. "I betray anyone when it suits my agenda." The elephant glared, eyes filling with tears. "Traitor." Anansi turned away. Baba Alani arrived. Chants rose. Warriors descended with spears. They thrust again and again. The elephant's final trumpet echoed, sorrowful, betrayed. Blood soaked the earth, silence fell. Then birds sang again, children laughed in distant huts, the curses lifted. The land healed. Anansi returned to the palace, shell gleaming, eyes triumphant. "The bargain is fulfilled," he said. "Give me my bride." The princess wept as guards led her forward. Her father embraced her one last time, tears on his royal cheeks. Anansi led her away, into the jungle, toward his cave. She was never seen in the kingdom again. Some say she lived in sorrow, tending the old tortoise's whims. Others whisper she learned his cunning, waiting for her moment. But the kingdom prospered, fields green, births normal, nights peaceful. Yet whispers lingered, the cost of survival. Years passed. King Adami grew old, his hair white as cotton. He often sat by the river, staring into the dark where Anansi's cave lay hidden. The people told the tale around fires, voices low. They spoke of wisdom triumphant over strength, of greed that devours even the wise, of promises kept at terrible cost, and of betrayal, how it stains the soul forever. Moral of the story: cleverness and cunning may achieve what brute force cannot, but when twisted by greed and pride, they lead to betrayal that destroys trust, innocence, and even the betrayer's own peace. True wisdom lies not in outsmarting others for personal gain, but in using intelligence with honor and compassion. For in the end, the one who betrays kin, friend, or fellow creature will find themselves alone in the darkness they created. If you enjoyed this African-inspired folktale of trickery, sacrifice, and the heavy price of greed, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep, unfiltered stories that explore the raw edges of human and animal nature. Share your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done in the king's place? Drop a comment if the tortoise's ruthlessness shocked you. More tailies coming soon.